Thank you so much for joining us, Joseph. Truly a pleasure to have you on the show.
It's great to be back.
Now, I'd like to start with your recent announcement on how you're going to be leveraging the Olympics in, a very, very unique way. You're going to be making a special episode with all the athletes and the musicians.
Yeah.
So how did this idea really come about? And I believe it's going to be a 10-part series.
It is.
And what is the objective of actually doing this?
Well, that's a great question. I think, as marketers, it's more critical for us to find content and get content. And I think one skill that we don't necessarily have as marketers is content creation. And so this was an opportunity using the London Olympics to kind of create our own content and put a discipline on ourselves that 10 times during those 16 days of the Olympics, we're going to create our own original content, put it on the web, broadcast it, put it on the satellite, see who will pull it down. And it's going to be not about just reporting on what's going on at the Olympics. It'll be more the social side of the games. And so different focus, bringing in athletes plus as celebrities, and kind of bringing a whole different flavor to it and making it very, very much a Coca-Cola spin. But the big thing for us strategically is getting ourselves to learn how we become a content developer and content creator. And that's a new skill for us, and I think it's a new skill for many marketers.
Also, what is very, very commendable is that your Facebook fan page, I believe, is 42 million at the moment, which is almost 5% of the entire Facebook population. How do you manage that in terms of how is your page different from, let's say, the other big brands? So how did you manage traffic and the likes? And B, 42 million on your Facebook page. How are you leveraging that?
I think the first thing you have to understand about us is we have taken a very hands-off approach, actually, to Facebook. We have what we call a fans-first philosophy. So we're not, our Facebook page was started by two people from Los Angeles who started it, and then it started to grow, and then it started getting 100,000 people a week, and it's continued to grow into this enormous 42 million plus, as you mentioned. But it's the philosophy that Facebook, it represents a very unique social platform, something that no one's ever seen before. If we're in there trying to push in there the kind of traditional advertising or communications that we do on television or radio or print into that medium, we won't be successful. And so our view is much more organic, to let it kind of come from the people. As we know as marketers, the people own the brand. We don't own the brands anymore. Let them push the thing out. Let them develop the content for that page. Now, we've done our own timeline. That's been another addition recently. But the timeline can't seem like you're overly commercial. It's got to reflect the social environment you're operating in. I don't believe you can just port what you're doing on traditional media into a platform, because no one's ever seen a beast like Facebook before.
Absolutely.
It's a new thing. So it requires new creative solutions. And so our whole fans first philosophy, I think that's proven to be successful for us. Otherwise, if we went in there heavy-handed and it was too Coca-Cola, too much branding, then people would leave. They wouldn't want to be part of it. Instead, it continues to grow.
What's your opinion on the ongoing debate on, Facebook and social media at large, and, whether it's really translating into sales? I mean, this has really come with General Motors pulling out and saying that, it isn't really working for them. What's your opinion as a very large marketer?
I think all marketers need to take a very deep breath. There was probably way too much hysteria and headline hysteria around Facebook in the last couple months. A lot of it related to the IPO. Things got way overinflated, overhyped, and now everybody's saying, calm down a little. Let's understand what we have here. So my view is, Facebook is working closely with a group of marketers. We're involved with what is the best measurement system for that unique platform, how they can deliver more direct correlation between people's engagement on Facebook and ultimately transactions. It's not there entirely yet. Facebook obviously has a lot of data. If they're able to marry that data with other more, let's say, proprietary loyalty card programs, you then would get more of a closed loop. So from my perspective, we're in the early phases of that, but we also look at things like how long are people engaged on the on the page? How are they sharing a piece of content that we might put on our page? All of those things represent, engagement for us. So it's not just about the 42 million. Those are impressions. What we want are expressions. So I talk a lot about the need to move from impressions to expressions to conversations to transactions. There's a flow there. But if you think, and it's naive for marketers to think that they're going to take the same approach that they use in traditional television media and port it into Facebook and you're going to have the same result. That's not the world we're operating in. We're living in a new world entirely. And I think that we're still at the early phases of this. Figure this, we're at social 1.0, really. I mean, when you think about it.
I also believe that one of the key areas that you're very enthusiastic about is mobile. And you're working on how you could kind of the mobile could ensure that that consumer traffic is moved into your retail partners' outlets, so that either they can try out a new brand or increase consumption. What exactly is the program about, and what initiatives have you taken to it?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think that's something we're very excited about. We know that there are billions and billions of there are more cell phones by a long shot than there are PCs, right? So the question is, now what we have to recognize, because we're a little spoiled, not everyone is carrying a sophisticated smartphone around the world. In many instances, they're carrying a very basic model. Particularly in developing countries. That's okay. They generally have text capability, text messaging capability, and that's good. But I think what we're seeing more and more is the opportunity to stimulate or drive commerce. I would say that I'm a believer that electronic couponing or mobile couponing is going to be more and more important. So getting an offer on your cell phone that drives you to a restaurant or a retailer, right? And then you just basically hold your phone up there, and it might be an offer to get a discount on a product, or it might is buy this product and you get a free something else. I think that that's going to become a really big program going forward, mobile couponing. And we're experimenting with that all around the world. And I think that again, you're in the very early stages, but I see that becoming a really big trend. Mobile couponing and ultimately driving traffic to our retail and quick service restaurant customers around the world. So stay tuned. That world is at the early stages also.
One thing that was very, very interesting about what Coca-Cola is trying to do is reinventing the vending machine called the Freestyle.
Yes.
So I believe this is an experiment of sorts. It's a lab where you're trying to figure out different combinations. If you can just throw some light on how this is really a lab and an experiment of sorts.
That's a great question, because I think that that's one thing we're really excited about. When we think about innovation, you can have product innovation, right? You can have packaging innovation, you can have equipment innovation, and you can have consumer engagement innovation. And to a large degree, this touches on, the Freestyle machine touches on all of those. And what we're excited about is you actually, one trend we see with consumers is they want choice, right? They want to discover new things. What the Freestyle machine does, which is a machine that can give you up to 106 different flavor combinations and choices of our whole portfolio of products and brands, is it really takes manufacturing out of the plants and moves it right to the consumer. And so what could be better from a choice perspective for consumers is let them create their own beverage. And so that's, we're extremely excited. We've started to scale that up in North America. We'll probably have over 10,000 machines. We're looking at, we've started to pilot it in England, and we're going to start piloting it in Japan, but we think that represents a game changer for us. Then also, you've got a digital screen there, You can use it as a communications device. It's very easy then for us to say, well, gee, look at that. 30% of the combination is, Coca-Cola with pineapple or mango. What does that tell you? Well, maybe there's a larger market opportunity there. And then you start to think about that informs your innovation frame and your innovation thinking. So we believe that Freestyle is a game changer for us. And, we're moving from deployment to scale in certain markets, but it's got technology. The guy who invented the Segway, Dean Kamen, he is a genius inventor. He is the guy that allowed us to use his kind of micro-dosing technology in the Freestyle machine, and basically it creates a machine that has a much smaller environmental footprint, because now instead of barely significant large bags or boxes with bags in them, which had the syrup, which was then mixed with the carbonation. It now has cartridges, small cartridges. So from an environmental footprint point of view, it's much better, and from a consumer choice point of view. So we're extremely excited about it, and we're scaling it up. So.